I opened the cafe door this morning and for a second I just stopped. That mix of warm coffee air and cold mountain air hit my face. Inside was comfort. Outside was clarity. I think I needed both. I stepped out and looked toward the city. Adelaide looked small, quiet, kind of peaceful. And I catch myself thinking, how often do we actually pause and look? We spend so much time inside offices, meetings, screens, even inside our own heads, that we forget how different things feel when we simply walk out. When you leave the noise behind, you start to hear yourself again. Not the rehearsed version of you, but the one that still asks real questions. As I started walking up this trail, I thought about how easy it is to get stuck in routines that keep us busy but not necessarily alive. The same faces, the same dashboards, the same check-ins, the same words, deliverable, deadline, alignment, all good words, but sometimes they trap us. Out here, there is no alignment meeting, just a path. You walk, you breathe, you notice. That's leadership too, just without the slides. I remember reading something in Harvard Business Review HBR a while back about self-awareness in leadership. The writer said reflection is what separates movement from progress. That line made sense to me because I've had years where I was moving a lot but not really progressing anywhere meaningful. I think the difference is honesty. And honesty is hard, especially the kind that has no witnesses. The one where you admit you are tired, you may be even lost, and no one's there to clap or comfort you. That's where leadership actually grows. Walking gives you that space. You start replying moments, how you react in a meeting, how you handle the conflict, how you spoke to someone who didn't deserve your tone that day. And little by little, you realize the person you lead first is yourself. If that relationship is broken, nothing else works for long. The trail here gets steeper after a while. You start to feel it in your legs, your breath, and that's when the mind gets quiet. You can't fake calm when you are short of breath. You just deal with what's in front of you. One step, one inhale, one exhale. I've learned that this is the exact state where perspective shows up. Not when you are comfortable, but when you are stripped of pretense. That's when ideas come back, when forgiveness becomes possible, when courage feels less like noise and more like rhythm. Sometimes people ask me what out of the box thinking really means. To me, it's this: walking out of your own head long enough to see yourself from the outside. It's not about cleverness, it's about distance. You can't see the pattern when you are sitting inside it. You have to step out, physically, emotionally, mentally, and then look back in. When I look back on my own work, there are moments I'm proud of and others I wish I'd handled differently. Moments I led with confidence and moments I led with fear, disgust and control. But both are teachers. And if you listen to them instead of defending yourself against them, they make you better. There's a point along this path where the trees open up and you can see almost everything. The city, the Gulf, the clouds stacked like layers. Every time I reach that spot, I feel a mix of peace and humility. Peace because I made it, humility because I remember how small I am compared to all of these. We don't talk enough about humility in leadership. We talk about vision, influence, and results. But humility is what keeps you learning. It was keep you approachable when everyone else is guarded. It's what keeps your mind young. When I get to the top, I usually just stand there for a bit, no music, no message to record, just breathing. And every time I feel this quiet voice saying start again, but clearer. Not start over, start clearer. I guess that's the real purpose of reflection. Not to regret the past, but to edit your approach for the next climb. Sometimes, when I say edit your approach, I think about how strange it is that we don't give our lives to same patience we give our work. When a design doesn't fit, we adjust it. When a project fails, we do a review. But when a season of life goes wrong, we call it a mistake and move on too quickly. We rarely take the time to understand the story behind it, the pattern, the trigger, the emotion that shaped our decision. Out here, walking under open sky, you start to see that everything you've done, the wins, the wrong turns, even the silences, had their reasons. You can't change what happened, but you can choose how to carry it forward. The mountain doesn't forget the storms that shape it, but it still stands. Maybe that's what resilience really means. When I look back on the last few years, I see a lot of moments that didn't go as planned. Projects that stalled. People who left. Times when I thought I was leading, but really I was just managing noise. And I think that's okay. Those moments are chapters, not verdicts. They remind you that even good intentions need better boundaries. Leadership is messy because people are messy. And we are people too. We expect ourselves to be the calm in every storm, but sometimes we are the storm. The difference is whether we notice it or not. There's a quote I once wrote in my notes app. I can't even remember who said it actually. Awareness doesn't fix everything, but changes how you hold it. That line matters to me. Because the point of reflection isn't to fix every flaw. It's to notice what's alive in you, the ambition, the fatigue, the fear, and the hope. All of it. I think leadership without self-awareness becomes performance. And the longer you perform, the further you drift from yourself. That's why these walks matter. They pull you back. They make you slower, softer, more deliberate. When you walk alone for long enough, you start remembering the quiet truth you've edited out. You remember what you actually value, not what your KPIs or culture decks says you should. You remember who grounded you once, a mentor, a parent, a stranger who believed in you for no reason. You remember that before you were a leader, you were a learner. And the best leaders never stop being learners. Sometimes I imagine talking to my younger self. That version of me who thought every misstep was failure, I'd tell him to relax, to listen more, to realize that self-doubt isn't a flaw. It's a sign you still care about doing things right. As the wind hits your face up here, you feel the balance between control and surrender. You guide your steps, but you don't control the ground. That's the truth of leadership too. You can plan the strategy, align the team, prepare the slides, but you can't script life. The real work is in how you respond when it surprises you. So maybe reflection is a kind of training. Not for the next task, but for the next moment of uncertainty. You learn to breathe through it, to keep walking even when the trail looks unfamiliar. If there is one thing the mountain teaches, it's patience. Every summit is built from small, ordinary steps. And every time you pause to look back, you realize how far those ordinary steps have taken you. That's what growth feels like. Quiet, steady, sometimes invisible until you turn around. So today, if you are somewhere between chapters, unsure, tired, second-guessing your last few decisions, don't rush to rewrite the story. Walk with it for a while. Let the next chapter find its own tone. Clarity has a way of showing up when the noise finally runs out of breath. If you are listening to this, maybe it's time you step out too. Not far, just outside the cafe. Outside the inbox, outside the noise. Take a walk without a podcast, without a plan. Let your own thoughts catch up to you. Ask yourself one honest question and don't rush to answer it. Keep walking. The answer will come when it's ready. Because clarity doesn't shout. It waits for quiet. And quiet usually begins the moment you decide to leave the room. Thank you.